who's the chairman, is my daughter, so that's where I come in, really. I'm really just going to talk a little bit about fundraising. You've already heard a little bit from people through the day. I try not to repeat myself, and I've had a lot of people approach, so I am grateful for that. But I'll just talk a little bit about it. We've covered a bit today why we need funds, but I just want to perhaps run through, because people tend to forget. We need really funds to provide the services that we do, some of the things that you see we've done today, and so on. We need them to show that we're effective and professional. We're trying hard to make AN UK more professional as we go through, and we're trying to make sure that happens, but that does need funds. As a charity, we are required to have a sound financial base, and we need to fundraise to maintain this, and to do the things we want to do. It became obvious, we could no longer rely on income from members alone, and we must have wider sources of income. That's becoming more obvious as we proceed. So, I think Kate mentioned some of these this morning, but some of our costs, it's not all of our costs, but some of our costs are things like subsidising the annual conference, newsletters and information. They all cost something to produce, printing, distribution and things like that. Providing help in the buddy system and so on is important, but it does, again, cost money. Raising awareness of Aniridia with the public and the medical community has costs in things like people going to attend medical conferences, to make the case and so on. Linking into wider Aniridia communities in Europe and the USA. There's not a huge amount of travel costs, but it does cost something. They're not all our costs, and we're hoping that we're going to be able to proceed to use other things. But at the moment, that's what we spend our money on. This year, 2013, 2014, we have a fundraising target of £3,500, which sounds quite a lot, but we did do that sort of amount last year, so we're hoping to be able to do it again. And if a bit more, then we may be able to do more with it. I'm hoping today, and I already have had a lot of people approach me, so I'm very grateful to them, anybody that's already approached, is to get people actively involved in fundraising for AN UK and to try and make it your charity of choice. We've got some ideas to get started. You've already seen one or two things that have happened. Do come in and take a seat, don't worry. But I'm hoping maybe you will have a few ideas too, even if it's not today, you'll send me some. I am hoping to have a little bit of a breakout session. By that I mean you're working on your table, whether you can produce something, but I'll introduce that as we go through. I'm going to talk first of all about some of the more sort of easy, and for want of a better word, passive ways to fundraise. It doesn't do an awful lot to make you do it. One of the easiest ways, and I think we've already had this mentioned today, is online giving. More and more of us are buying everything online, all sorts of things. So we'd like you to think about AN UK when you are online. We're registered with the following people, which is Give As You Live, which is largely shopping, and if you go through their portal, we get a small amount. Amazon, anybody in the room never used Amazon? Most people do use Amazon at some point. Somebody shaking their head there, good. But if you do use it, if you go through our Work.Charity, it will work, and we will get a small amount. Every Click is a search engine, and if you use that, again, they will give us a small amount. They don't cost you anything extra, but it gives us a valuable income stream. eBay is, that's a slightly different issue. If you're selling something on eBay that you don't want, you might consider giving us a small percentage of the sale revenue. Another good way of giving, without an awful lot of effort, is monthly giving. Through your salary, or it can be just a donation monthly. This is something I do. I was approached in the street many years ago and got chunked for another charity. And then I thought, why am I doing this after some years? Why am I not giving it to AN UK? And I changed and made it AN UK. I don't give a huge amount of them, but it's very helpful. It can be done by standing order, or charity giving, or Charities Aid Foundation. You can contact us and we will help you set that up. It can be a very tax-effective way to give if you're giving from a salary. It can be done in a way that is paid before you actually are taxed. There's all sorts of other old-fashioned things like small change jars. You can put small coins in a jar, donate to AN UK when they're full. All is gratefully received. I think Katie mentioned this morning that we've had a legacy. Oh, thank goodness the person hasn't died yet, but you know, if you're making a will and somebody asks you, would you like to give to a charity, which often solicitors do, it would be very nice if you would think about it. If you pay tax and make any kind of donations, it's really, really helpful if you can complete our gift aid form so that we get an extra 25p from the government for every £1 donated. You do have to pay tax for that to happen. It's, and we can advise and help on that. I have had another fairly simple idea raised today. One of the ladies here, Lynn, which has gone into the other room, which is doing the buddy scheme, didn't send Christmas cards this year. She just sent an email Christmas card and gave the money that she would have spent on Christmas cards and stamps to Aniridia UK, which was a good fundraiser. But the other thing that happened was all the people she sent them to, 1 or 2 of them gave donations as well. So that's quite one we could consider. I haven't written it on my slides because I've just been told about that today. But I thought that was quite a nice idea. There are more active fundraising ideas. This is when you possibly have to do something. We have had quite a lot of people do that for us this year. And as you saw earlier, there are 6 main sort of ways of raising money actively. The first is the sponsored category. That's activities such as walks, runs, events. We've had people take part in the Great North Run, for example, or other things like that. Or indeed, where Tori organised her own walk, or parents organised a walk, and her family and everybody joined in. And we could, we would very much appreciate it. If there's anything you can think of in those lines, we could do. And we are looking at doing more of those, where we are organising it. But certainly if there's a local marathon, a local half run, or anything like that, it's a very good way of raising money. And it spreads out because people are often very happy to sponsor you. Retail activities, these are such as cake sales, car boot sales, selling unwanted items on eBay. Cake sales are all the rage, and we've found people are very much into baking at the moment. So there's quite a lot of that going on. And as you saw this morning, somebody did a lot of cupcakes with little pigs and animals and raised £50, which is very nice. Another sort of category is events, such as coffee mornings and barbecues and things like that. I'm hoping to possibly do a pop-up coffee morning. I live in a place where that might be possible to do. And all of these things depend on where you live and what's possible for you. Oh. What's happened there, Joe?
It's the one we just been having the other way.
What's happened? Right, can you remove? We've got all this very grateful ham, James. Another category, which again, as you can see, we're doing today, and I think most people have bought a raffle ticket today, is raffles and umbrellas at events or work. They're a good way to raise money. You can often get people to give you small things or prizes, and if you're in this situation or at work or any event that you can do that at, they're a good thing to do. Collections, it's old-fashioned, but they do work. Collections at events or on your local high street. Somebody's got one organised, I think, actually Sue is possibly going to do one in Sainsbury's. They've agreed to let her do it. And we'll see how that goes. I've got one at my local Sunday market, but not until September, but I just wrote to them and they said yes. And it's a fairly easy way. We have buckets, we have things. If you get one of those, we can always help. The last one is offering a service. Services like things like backpacking at a local store, car cleaning, other things that you have that you can offer as a service and get a little bit of money back for us. I'd like to consider these active ideas, and I wondered if everybody on the table can get together on each table or in groups. There's a group here, and on each table, perhaps if you can move to a table, and have a think about any of those ideas. And so, what we want you to do is, just for about 5 minutes, think about one of those areas, perhaps, of activity, and consider what you would need. What would you need to do to prepare for a cake sale? Maximising your income and what do you need on the day, and what support might you need from us or anywhere else. If one on each group can tell me, I'll try and put up some of the ideas at the end. Is that okay with everybody? Are you comfortable doing that? Because you fall naturally into groups. I won't make people if you don't want to. Or we can just ask you to give me some ideas as you feel. Any ideas? Would you prefer to stay as you are, or?
No, one thing we did, we were lucky enough to buy a house in London some years ago and then sold and downsized. And one of the things we've done is in our will is anything above the inheritance tax threshold goes to charities. Otherwise the government will claw back 40% of anything over whatever it is, something like 300,000 or whatever it is or something. So there's that bit you can build into your will as well.
Yes, which I think is it's not something people like to think about their wills really, but it is a good thing. Why would pay to the government when you could actually give it to other people? And we would like to think that even if a small bequest, anything at all, is very helpful. God forbid, I don't want anyone to die to achieve this, but it's worth thinking about. Has anybody got anything else that they think might be?
That's a really good idea. I've done it for another charity. Is that if we could arrange at Christmas to go to a mainline train station, and you can raise so much money for people to stand in their collection boxes by access to the Tubes International Rail around the Christmas period of time. You can raise so much money in 2 or 3 hours. All you need is bodies. You just need a lot of bodies standing there with buckets for a period of time.
So for that, we would need to think about perhaps getting people together. But that's certainly a very good idea. Again, I think somebody here has, she's going to go through, but has offered to do collections in London, I think an underground and mainland station. She's done it before for other things. You do require permissions, but we can help you get those permissions if you wish to. Am I right in saying that? Yes, you need permissions.
Yeah, you need to book it. There's a calendar. Every charity has a different day, and so you need to get that booked in.
Yeah.
But there's a range of National Rail and Tube stations you can do it at. So.
Yeah, so that's a good one. And if there's a number of you, it can be fun, and we can help organise and advise on that. I think, anybody got any other ones that they've tried or done?
Well, as you say, I know you're doing your local market, but that's quite a good one. So places like Covent Garden, or your local farmers market, people are often quite generous at those.
Yeah. What in my case it is a local market on Sundays at the local racecourse, and they allow charities to stand at the gate, and as people come out they usually give you what they've got left. It does mean you sort of have to count up a little bit, but it is generally quite a good fundraiser. I've written to them and you have to take a slot, and so the preparation is the letter and making sure that they know that you are a charity, because they do ask that. And we can provide the buckets and letter of authority and all the things that you would need to do that, and something to identify you and so on. So those are not that difficult to do. That you have to stand around, of course, but it works quite well, and we will also give you some support on that.
Have you, as an organisation, thought about, I know the logistics can be slightly difficult because it requires money to do in the first place, but as a charity buying places in something like the London Marathon, because then people, my husband's a marathon runner and he's found it incredibly difficult to get charity places. He did actually do one for Victor, impairment charity for children, but a lot of runners are very, very interested in coming to smaller charities because they obviously they're less well known, there are fewer people bidding to get places for the charity and they have to raise less. Obviously you need to set the amount that they have to raise in order to get the place above what you have to pay for the place. But I don't know how much that would be in the first place as a charity for you to buy places.
I think it is something I think perhaps we need to explore a bit more. We have had people when Kate got an allocation, a free sort of allocation in the Great North Run.
Yeah.
And then said she would do it for us, and then that worked. But I would say it's something I think we need to look at a little bit more, as we have a little bit more fun.
With the London Marathon, it's one of the biggest marathons in the world. People will come to you to buy places.
Because they're looking for it, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, they have hundreds of thousands of people apply every year that aren't allowed to run because there aren't enough charities have bought places.
Right.
They're all full. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of people want to run the marathon that simply can't because they either have to go bid on a ballot place and they don't have to win.
I think that's how Kate, she was looking and got one,
Yeah, or they don't get a charity place. So if someone within the organisation, whether it be via a bank or otherwise, able to raise the capital to buy 1 or 2 places, you can then set the level of money that the person has to raise.
Yeah, and we can help them obviously by...
Yeah.
You know.
A lot of people who tend to run marathons, things like that, are very, very active fundraisers, and they go out of their way. I mean, a friend of mine's always, anyone who's out in Kent, you see him riding his bike or running marathons literally outside of supermarkets and raising thousands in a day. People are just like, you're insane, here, have my change.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of thing where they may not necessarily be like, oh my god, yeah, Aniridia, I'm going to support this, but it's like, I want to do a marathon, yes, I'll raise you some money.
Our issue has been, until so fairly recently, we just begin to ramp up our charity, our fundraising. So I think it is something we should have a look at. And are you willing to access the contact if we...
Yeah, of course. I mean,
I'm asking to run
my
marathons,
husband's the one that's run marathons things, but I mean, he's run London, and that's obviously the
Well,
biggest. Brighton's quite big and in growing popularity as well. And again, people will go to charities to run for them in order to get a place. So.
Yeah, which would be nice. Because what we have to do is, there's not that many
Doesn't
people with
necessarily
Aniridia, so we have to spread this out, you know, get it out to everybody as much as we can. But that's a good idea. Anything else on that?
Another good way to raise money is to have counter drop boxes and pubs, bars,
Yes,
pubs,
yeah.
shops.
We now have those with chains, so if you think you know where there's a good place that might do it, let me know and I will provide you with that, with a proper letter of authorisation. It's a relatively simple way to do, but it does mean you've got to go and collect and, you know, time it and make sure that somebody's doing it. So, you know, you would need to be committed to that level to do that. They work probably best in pubs, independent shops and things like that. A lot of the big chains will have their own charity, and if we can't get on that money, so you sometimes have problems there. But pubs and clubs are very good.
Another good way to do that is to take somewhere like a local Sainsbury's or any kind of store,
Right.
any kind of chain store, and persuade them to make you their
Local charity, yeah.
Well, I did that for a charity I worked for. What we did is you usually get 4, and then everybody in the office filled one in, got friends or people to fill one in, and then if you get enough of them, they'll choose you as your charity, and they did choose our charity.
Right.
So like if I live near a Tesco, so if I got all my friends and family to fill in their form, and hopefully they can just
I did try getting a collection in Wilkinson's, and they said, you're not local, we only support local. And I was trying to think of a way around it. Now that might be the way forward.
The charity coordinators within stores or within companies would be able to help them.
All right, I'll be a bit more persistent now on that, because
also on that, if you're some large company, if you work for a large company, often they do have support for a charity.
that's the other approach. If you do work, if anybody here feels they can influence their company to make us their choice, that might be quite good too. I know that's not always possible, but if that is a thought.
You can history enough.
If we were thinking of doing activities or social
Yeah.
events, the other thing is actually if you say we want to take this group of disabled people to, I don't know, have a driving experience, whatever it is, and approach something, they will often pay towards a specific activity, even if they won't donate generally.
Yes, that's true.
And for a guide camp, for example, I got given some ridiculous amount of money by my 6th one. And all I had to do is say, I want to do this because it's fun and please will give me money.
Another side of that for us fundraising is we have, and James and I have talked about this, is doing something perhaps a bit daring and getting somebody willing to do that. One of the bit we have had somebody contact us about skydiving,
Yes.
and whether anybody would want to do that, and then getting people to sponsor you to do it. It's a win-win situation in the fact it shows people with Aniridia or whatever can do things and have some fun and raise some money. So, but we are looking at possibly seeing what we can find on those kind of events, because not everybody in the room will want to do it, but some people might, and it's a good chance. Yeah, fun runs or things like that. Veronica, did I actually...
Yeah, I was wondering whether people who have things like nectar cards or boost cards,
Right.
whether they might think about donating what they collect on those. I have actually asked, only in a book store, I haven't gone public, why they don't have a system where you can assign your
Yes.
what you're saving to a
Yes.
specific charity, and that they could just send it off. But I don't know whether it might just be easier for people themselves when they get such money.
Because it's, I wouldn't say it's free money, but it's money that's not quite so, is it?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Again, I'll put that one out of whether people would, you know, a lot of stores now have club cards or points or things that you can get. Nectar one is quite good. Boots is quite good. I do occasionally spend mine, but I hadn't thought of, but yes, I'll look at that one. What we want to try and do today really is get you actively thinking about things. And I've had some quite good ideas. Is there anybody got any more that they want to say?
If any, it's a bit old-fashioned, I know, but people who do companies that run sales in people's homes, like Osborne Books and Tupperware, they will, if you run one of those, and they will often give a percentage of your takings to the charity.
Right.
The Pamper Chef is quite common.
Jamie Oliver, you have a Jamie Oliver party these days?
Yes,
Yeah.
there's all, you know,
The whole range of them.
whatever your meaning was,
Yeah.
if children's books or something, but especially running up to Christmas,
Right.
when people want to buy Christmas presents, you can suggest it as come to Bright Lights Candle Party and buy some Christmas presents.
Yeah.
And they'll give you a percentage of the takings will go to a charity.
I know that the Jamie Oliver parties have proved quite popular around me because everyone seems to be baking at the moment. I don't know. So that might be one that, yeah.
It's something that sort of helps you get it organised. You're not organising in isolation.
We can give quite a bit of support.
Yes.
Our biggest issue is that
So
we're...
the organisations that you're selling things to
Yes.
will help you with the organisation.
Oh, right, then, of course. They provide the framework, don't they?
Yes,
to
they
do it.
provide the
Yeah.
framework, so it's not such an effort. You're just providing some coffee and biscuits and cakes
Yes.
and
Because
social time.
our issue really is that we're all over the place. We all live in different places. That can make it difficult for us to get together to do things. But that's a very good idea. We'll move on a little bit. What I'd like everybody today is if you can think about the things. We've had a lot of people. If you could let me know if you're willing to do anything or interested in doing anything, and I will contact you within the next month to 2 months and try and give you the support and encouragement to do it. It's difficult to discuss lots of different things today in great detail, but we can try and tailor a pack for you to help the sport, make sure you have things that you need. And I don't want anyone to feel that whatever they're doing isn't big enough or isn't kind of. It's great really to have all sorts of things involved. I was thrilled with the cake one, but if somebody sells something on eBay or just gives us something monthly, it may not be a huge amount, but it gives us a really good income. As I do, I didn't miss it, and I was giving it to another charity, and when I thought about it, I thought, why am I doing this? And I've changed it. I'm on the fundraising desk, and I'll be there until 5 o'clock, so if anybody wants to come and I will put that down. Okay, and I will contact you and make sure that that happens and that we can, because we are moving into a slightly bigger state, and to do the things we want to do, we need to. I'm calling it a commitment chart, so if you could sign up with me today, that would be great. And thank you to anybody that's already done so, because I've got quite a few people. I'm not going to say much about the raffle tickets and t-shirts, because actually I think most people have bought raffle tickets and a t-shirt. I haven't got many t-shirts left, which is good. And really, I just want... We're going to take all... yes, indeed, James. James is saying... James and I had a slight... I said, oh, I don't know whether they'll sell. And James said, I think they will. So James is right. Now I'm going to have to eat my t-shirt when I get home. Get thinking about what you can do to help us. If you can't think today, by all means, you know, we're here all year and I will be there and answer any questions. I do want to just cover again the gift aid donations. And I don't want anyone to feel pressured. But if you're giving donations and you pay tax, either income tax or some sort of tax that covers that, then if you fill out your gift aid, we get 25p for every pound extra for nothing. So it's well worth doing. It is important when we're doing all the fundraising ideas that we keep track of them. As a charity, we are meant to do that. We can't just let it all just go away. So if you're doing something, it's nice if you can let us know. We can then provide you with the proper things that you need and help keep track of it. It's very nice when people do things, and occasionally you get things sent and you think, oh, didn't know that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's helpful if we can help you and maximise and give you some ideas, and also provide you with a bit of support. So do let us know. Okay. I'm going to make another plea, and it has been already asked for, but I'm going to say it again. We do need a bit of help with fundraising, and we could do with a fundraising officer. That doesn't have to be full-time, but obviously the more you can do, the better. You know, I'm not full-time, obviously. It doesn't have to be a huge amount of work, but it would be helpful if you've done any fundraising or have any. I've had some good ideas today that I didn't think about, so that's helpful. But we actually would be great if your fundraising is your thing, and we've got quite a few people who clearly know what they're doing. If you feel that you can formally take on some of that, it would be great. So if you feel you can help in any way, can you please contact me either after this session, as I say, I'm till 5, or you can get me on the Aniridia address, which is liz.atkinson@aniridia.org.uk. I'm also going to put my numbers out, which is my home number and my mobile. My home number is 01748 811 021. 07749 119 114 is my mobile. These things will be in your conference pack, so you know, hopefully you have a look at them. The fundraising sheet in your conference pack has some of the ideas we've discussed. Not all of them, I have to say, because we've had some new ideas today. And it has all the contact details for Aniridia UK. And remember, any new ones, anything you want to do, just let us know. And again, we need to know if you're running an event on our behalf. And I'd just like to thank everybody for what they've already done and anything they might do in the future. Has anybody got any questions? Anybody not sure about anything? No? Okay. Thank you very much for your time, that's great. As I say, I'll be on the fundraising desk. There are not many t-shirts left, but you know, if you haven't bought a raffle ticket, please do. I don't think there's many. Okay, thank you very much.